Good evening, everybody. With it being close to 6:30 on Tuesday, November 13th, 2018, I will call this meeting of the Webster School Committee to order and ask that we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I hope everyone has had a couple good weeks since our last meeting. First item on the agenda, I will entertain a motion to approve our October 23rd, 2018 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Laurie, would you call the committee, please?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Good evening, Mrs. Gogan.
Good evening, everyone. How is everyone?
We're okay.
All right. I have a report for you tonight. I will start with a personnel update. I would like to inform you that Katie Matthews resigned. She's our life skills teacher in the Bartlett High School program. I am very pleased to announce that we have 33 Bartlett High School students, seniors, who are receiving the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship. These scholarships are given when students have earned advanced performance on one of the 3 levels for the state assessments in either English, math, or science, and they have a combined score from the 3 tests that place them in the top 25% of the graduating class. This is up from last year. I would personally like to congratulate Vivian Adams, Tyler Adolfo, Alexander Balducci, Devin Batten, Leah Beausoleil, Mariah Belletti, Stephanie Borisma, Shannon Bombardier, Emma Bono, John Basamio, Zachary Candito, Shannon Casey, Michaela Shenevert, Samantha Combs, Jade Courtney, Ashley Kular, Julia Dwyer, Mark Gonzalez, Catherine Griffins, Brian James, Carly Layton, Garrett Mann, Bradley Markevich, Duncan McIntyre, Brandy Mercier, Ogden Milorsevich, sorry, Ogden, Shane Parker, Fremont Peets, Patrick Piawatsik, I'm so sorry, Patrick. I am trying. Kyle Sullivan, Darian Tooley, Allison Wheeler-Ramsey, and Ryan Zaleski. These 33 students and their parents have been invited to a reception that will be held at the Bartlett High School on November 20th at 8 a.m. in the morning, where we will be giving them and celebrating their accomplishments. I am also pleased to let you know that we held our very first ELL Parent Advisory group, Kathy Barris and I, at North Village, and we had 3 very committed parents join us. There is definitely an interest to have a parent advisory group. This parent advisory group selected Mrs. Margarita Nieves as our chair. I'd like to thank our other parents, Maria Montserrat and Emmeline Riviera, for attending. The purpose of the meeting is to really gather feedback from parents of second language learners to find out how we can help their students succeed in the school and sort of break down some of the barriers that are existing with the language barriers. I'm really pleased to say that our chair immediately put together a list of suggestions for our teachers of things that they could immediately do that would help students with second language learners, and we sent that out to all of our teachers. We originally had planned on meeting only 4 times throughout the year. We have increased our meetings because there was such a desire for this kind of group. So we will be meeting again at the North Village, and for anyone who is watching, you are certainly welcome to join us. These dates are January 15th, February 27th, March 27th, and May 22nd. And we may increase those dates as we go on throughout the year. Our parent group, our new small but mighty parent group, will be having informational tables at both Park Avenue and Webster Middle School at the parent-teacher conferences. And as a public reminder for any parents who may be watching that are parents of second language learners, I do want to remind them with advance notice we can schedule translators for any upcoming parent meetings or any time that they need that, and I want to put that out there. We have been doing a lot of community outreach, and I would like to share that. I would like to thank Mafre for their partnership, and a special thanks to Linda Johnson and Vice President Pepe for coming to Park Avenue Elementary School on November 5th. Mafre created an educational video with 2 of our classrooms with Boston Children's Hospital injury specialist Barbara DiGirolamo, who was teaching our kids about safety. They filmed a couple of the lessons, and then they did some interviewing with some of our students. It was really wonderful. The students stole the limelight, of course, and were really able to give pertinent information on what they learned and what they were bringing home to the table. Once the video is out, I will publicly share it with our community, and of course, all the parents of the kids that were videotaped had given permission for this. I want to thank them for that. Barbara is finishing up the safety program at Park Ave Elementary School, and they also, Boston Children's Hospital, will have informational tables for our families at the open houses at the Webster Middle School and Park Ave Elementary School. A new program that we're starting with Mafre, I'm not sure if I've told you about, will be happening with the high school. We have 25 students from Bartlett High School that have been selected to participate in a leadership workshop. We'll be taking this group of students to Mafre on December 11th. They have a full curriculum really designed to help students think about long-term goals and where they want to be. And so we're hoping to develop that partnership as well. Sort of similar to the trip to Unum, we are trying to expose our students to real-life work situations and what employees are looking for in the next round of people that are coming up. In terms of curriculum, we've been busy and continue to be busy at looking and creating action plans as a result of our MCAS testing. I would like to let you know that this past summer, as you know, I was able to attend the superintendent's workshop, and at this superintendent's conference, I connected with a company that puts together a math program. It's a visual game type of program called ST Math. It's a program that is a supplemental program, and it teaches kids math with no words. It's a nonverbal program. It's kind of fascinating. I've been talking to them since the summer, and they've come out to speak with both myself and Jill Chapdelaine, our Director of Curriculum for Math. And Jill and I had the opportunity to go to a workshop last week and hear Dr. Peter Matthews, the neuroscientist who developed this program, speak about it and show us more in depth of what it does. I'm not going to share any words about it, but we are aiming to write a grant for this program. This company is a nonprofit company, and they are attached to some pretty big donors that are looking to get this program into schools that coincidentally look like our schools, that have a lot of special education students, a lot of second language students, where language can be the barrier to learning math. I am really excited about applying for this grant, because if we do get this grant, we will be able to get this program for our district forever for free. And if we do, and I'll be able to bring the program to you and show you, and then you will see how great it is as well, because I'm not doing it any justice by putting words to it. It's fascinating. I actually wish that I had something like that as a student who was learning math. You know, math anxiety is an issue for a lot of kids. They give up. This program lets students try different solutions. They see what happens, and so they start to make the connections of understanding the concepts, the deeper concepts of math. Other things on our radar, as you know, we have parent-teacher conferences coming up on November 14th, and report cards have gone home for the middle school and the high school, and they will be going home for the elementary school students on December 7th. Parents are reminded that if they haven't yet, there's still time to make appointments to see teachers. We do have parent-teacher conferences the evening, the 14th, and the afternoon of the 15th. I did tell you that the instructional leadership teams and the teachers are still working on creating some action plans with the MCAS data. Their task was to come up with new plans where they're not taking students out of core instruction, but making sure that their interventions are given to them for the areas that they need. I would like to remind the community and the school committee that we do offer Title I tutoring for our students. We have University at Bartlett High School, Think Tank at the middle school, and these programs run Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We also have been providing pre-MCAS math tutoring for a group of students that need to take the MCAS retake tests. And the exciting piece that I'd like to share is that we're in the process of working with North Village to set up after-school tutoring, Title I tutoring at North Village. We are hosting a brunch for parents to learn more about this on December 10th at 11 a.m. And we will be starting that program, the Title I tutoring program, in January. So we have posted for the positions. We're really thinking that that's going to help a lot of our kids who cannot stay after school, so we're going to go to them. On the other news, we are working diligently to prepare for our comprehensive district review. Although it's in March, there's a lot of things to get ready for, so we have been working on that. And that concludes my report.
Any questions or comments from the committee? Let me just, on behalf of the entire committee, just congratulate all the students that did receive the Adams Scholarship, especially our wonderful student representative, Mariah. I know that with the cost of all education and public secondary education, every little bit helps, so congratulations to those students. Next item on the agenda is the business manager report. Good evening, Mrs. Perangeli.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. I just have a few things under my agenda tonight. First item I'd like to discuss is the Central Mass Collaborative meeting. I was invited to a meeting on October 30th to meet Bev Taff. She is the business manager for the collaborative. I also met with Mike Tempesta, who's the director, and Brian Allen, the business administrator for the city of Worcester. This was just an initial meeting to basically look at the contract and discuss with the collaborative, just to get an idea of what the collaborative is thinking about moving forward. As you know, we have sent in our letter at the end of last year saying that we will be leaving the collaborative. That's the expectation at the end of the year. But we are still very active members this year in the collaborative. So they are talking about options moving forward and contract options. So they just kind of informed us of their thoughts on what they're looking at, and then we scheduled budget meetings coming up starting in December. So that's when we'll get into the nuts and bolts of their budget. But it was a good meeting to meet them and to meet Mike and get an idea of what they're thinking at looking at other districts to become a part of the collaborative. They know that even though we've sent in our letter, if things change and improve or decisions are made, we still can opt to stay in. So they're just looking at, all options moving forward. The next item on the agenda is something you're probably wondering, why is that under the business manager's report? It is ESSA report cards, which is our district report cards. That stands for Every Student Succeeds Act. These report cards generally report on the status, your scores and your level assessment status of a district, and we're required to post them online for each school in the district every year. It's our accountability status, basically your MCAS reports and what your levels are from there. But they are expanding out those reports now to include expenditure. They're being redesigned. to stay with federal guidelines. So in December, they will be coming out with new report cards, which is for the first time is going to include financial data. So as you can imagine, it's got some business managers around Massachusetts a little concerned about what information is going to be reported. Is the general person going to be able to understand what they're reading at the school level, how they're reporting it? So the Department of Ed is hosting a few webinars coming up. I'll be listening in on November 28th. I'm already scheduled to do that at noon. They're going to review the data that's going to be posted. I'm really not concerned. I mean, it's data. It's data that we're reporting to the state. We report on our end-of-year financials. We do the best we can to break it out by school so the information is accurate. But I can understand where in a city where you might have multiple elementary schools, comparing one to the other and the accountability status and the funds and trying to understand how money is allocated and explain that can be a little scary to, to a business manager trying to say, how do you explain what equity is and why the money is going to one place? Maybe there's a school underperforming, who knows? But they will be, they're expecting them to come out in December, but they haven't firmly said they're coming out in December, but that's the expectation. But they have to come out because I think by January, we are sending letters and notices home, so I would imagine they're going to be pretty close to on time. So that's why that's there. And then the last item on my report is Head Start. So myself and Ellen have been meeting with Head Start. They are still hoping to open in January, and we will be servicing their breakfast, snack, and lunch. So we'll be feeding them 3 meals a day. Right now, it's going to be for about 75 students. We have been discussing the option of whether we're going to treat them as a contractor, like we'll be the contractor for them, or if we're going to include them as a site like we do for the parochial schools. What is the better option for us? Right now, I'm thinking, and we've talked to the Department of Ed about this, I'm leaning towards being a contractor just because we don't have the monitoring, the oversight, the claiming. That's all additional work for us, making sure that we have another school, making sure we're inspecting them, making sure we're keeping up with all the reimbursements. And it's a very different process over there where we serve individual meals. Head Start is all about the family. So their meals are all family style. They all sit down at a table and eat together. The kids eat with the staff in a family style portion. So, and it's just a little different for us to monitor. So I'm leaning towards treating it as a contractor. This is how much food we gave you, this is how much we're gonna bill, and it's an even wash, we're not gonna, they're gonna pay for the labor, they're gonna pay for the food, so it'll just be us providing them food. So that's where we're heading right now. I'm not sure if they're gonna open in January. You know how construction goes, that's their hope, and I've talked to them. She offered us a tour coming up within a month to get a better idea. But having been through a couple of projects, I'm not holding my breath. I'm thinking more February, March. But we'll be there and we'll be ready whenever they need it. And that concludes my report. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is Principal Report, Michael Zajac, Webster Middle School. Good evening, Mr. Zajac.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Excited to be here. Last month was busy. Our National Junior Honor Society induction ceremony saw 33 students become inducted into the second year of the chapter. It's an increase of 14 students. The first year was only 19, so we're really excited that it has grown. What's also exciting about the program is that the Bartlett High School Honor Society members put on the program. It is orchestrated by Lori Foley and Pat Gonzalez, our co-advisors, but once the actual program begins, they take the lead role in terms of going through the pledge and the qualities. So it's a wonderful program, and we're excited that it has grown. It really has. We have 33 students this year. Washington, D.C. is drawing a lot of attention. It just tends to happen every year when I've run these programs. Right now we have 30 parent chaperones. and we have 20 students signed up. So we're really covering that 8-to-1 ratio. It's definitely happens every year, and been doing this trip for years, is that the parents, of course, want to get involved because they're first name in for chaperoning. And so we expect at least 30 students, I'd hope, unless the parents don't plan to bring their children. But the numbers are growing. We're well over 20, and it always happens. If they come in last minute, and I've expressed this to the students, it's really about making sure we reserve the buses. That's the key, is making sure we have our numbers, because I have to let a bus go sometime in December. So I want to make sure that we give every child the opportunity. We also had a fundraising meeting last week. It was well attended. We had about 20 parents there, and we came up with some really wonderful ideas to offset the cost, both individually for the families to raise the money, but also collectively as a group, because we do have some expenses there. So this evening, you'll be voting on approving the calendar raffle and the mixed bags, which are two fundraisers that we're offering for our students. And what we've tried to do is we're trying to plan these fundraisers 2 weeks prior to a bill is due. So our next payment is not due until February. So we're looking to give families the opportunity to raise those funds to hopefully offset the cost in their February payment. So we've tried to map it out over the years. So we have another meeting set up for next month to get together to plan other events and to see how we're moving along with that. So, which is wonderful. There's a lot of excitement. The kids are talking about it. They're asking questions like, who do I get to room with? How do I pick those things? And so there's a lot of excitement. But we are offering financial assistance, and that is something that I've spoken to a number of parents about. Para-teacher conferences are full. We've been using this online system. We started it last year, and parents were able to pick online what slots they wanted. We had parents who did not have internet access send us a paper form, and we booked them for them. A lot of our teachers are already meeting with families before and after school already. They've been meeting with them right along. So this is just a continuation of the offerings of them, but we have full schedules. And PBIS, this is our second year of PBIS, Positive Behavioral Intervention System. Last year was a lot of training and groundwork. This year, we really rolled it out right away. As you walk the building, you're going to see posters in various locations talking about expectations, noise volume, okay, from a 0 to a 4. The 0 is quiet, so you'll see the language you'll hear the language spoken. I want a 1, I want a 2. The hallway expectations are posted, bathroom expectations, cafeteria expectations. So we're talking a lot about that. But we're also collecting Wildcat Awards, Wildcat tickets. So each month we have, on a half day, we do a community meeting where we get one whole grade level together. The teachers recognize students for their achievements, but we also raffle off Subway gift cards. And so each grade level gets 3 gift cards. And what we talked about in PBIS was, although the gift cards are nice, it's only every month. So now we're offering every other week, not gift cards, but some other type of recognition for the students for the good decisions they're making. And what's nice is the baskets are really filling up. We had to go from small containers to now big baskets. And that's something we're trying to change culturally at the school, is recognizing students for the good achievements. And we talked about the honor roll ice cream parties, perfect attendance. So we're really focusing on those things, and they are truly making an impact. That's it.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Zajac? Just for housekeeping clarity's sake, it is coming up in the agenda, but we as a committee do not approve any fundraisers.
Okay.
Those are approved
Make
by
sure
the
we
building
have it.
principal and the superintendent, and then we review them primarily publicly. But I did have one quick question. I know obviously this is your second year, and we're a quarter of a way through the school year. So far, what are some of the things that you think have gone better than expected, and what are some of the things that you're still a little concerned with, or not you or your team might be struggling with heading into the halfway point of the school year?
We got a lot of momentum. We've had a really big culture change. Just the atmosphere in the building is, I think all schools are going to have their challenges, but you can see the difference in the behavior of the students, how they respond to situations. Last year, it was challenging when you would ask a student to report to the office and they wouldn't listen. Now, when you're asking a young lady or a young man to please go to the office, they approach the office in a very respectful way. The hallways are quieter. Their response in the office, we all make poor decisions, how you respond to it. I clearly see that changing, and it has changed tremendously. I also see a big focus on academics. That is a topic, anytime I have a child in my office talking about, a decision, I always ask about their grades. So we're constantly reviewing grades. How are you doing? What do you plan to do? And I've had students say to me, Mr. Zajac, I made some poor decisions last year. I'm not going to do the same this year. I've had students who really mature and recognize them for their maturity. I think the challenge you have is simply staying the course, to be honest with you. I think we're further along than I expected when it comes to culture. I think that the students have really gravitated towards it. I bring up the promotion and retention policy often, and it's just to remind them that we have expectations and we know you can achieve them. And that's a constant thing. Every single day is reminding them that they have choices, they can make good choices, that they can succeed. And, I had lunch with a student today. I have a lunch with her every Tuesday, and we met today and we talked about things and we just talked about what was going on. And we just reminded her that you can make good choices. It's kind of a little agreement I have with her that she has a good week, we'll have lunch. And so it's wonderful when you're able to do that. But other than that, it's just we're working, moving forward.
Great. And again, as I've said often, thank you for your efforts and your team. I know that everybody
wonderful.
works very hard over at the middle school, so thank you. Another housekeeping question I had, I know Dr. Cushing is not here, but perhaps Mrs. Gogan can answer this. I know I got a lot of text messages about the confusion related to the email distribution list at Bartlett with regards to, I guess, everything, but especially related to the parent-teacher conference. Do you know if that's been rectified?
I do not. Do you know?
I don't know the problem.
Parents couldn't sign up. And so I know that Peter Cushing sent out a notice to parents to have them contact the school. So I do not
Okay.
know.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
That's okay. John might know.
But I thought there was also a bigger issue that, I know we have several parents here who have children at Bartlett. I don't think the email group for Bartlett parents is working. Have you ever received an email as a group?
Not until this past weekend.
Okay, so
I got the email.
it was fixed this week. Okay, that was the biggest issue, because in the all call it said, please check your email, but then nobody had received
Right.
emails.
There was another email too that I didn't receive. It was about the school store link. I did not receive that. And that's closed.
The only reason I bring it up is a lot of people reached out to me.
Yeah, I get the same. People were reaching out to me.
So I know Dr. Cushing sent out the follow-up all call.
I will follow up with that to
I
find
can
out.
follow up
Yep.
with that tomorrow. I'll check on that.
Okay.
I did receive a text as well.
Oh, you guys get texts?
We got it. Yes, we received a text and an email.
So you did get something this
We
weekend?
did.
It might have been fixed
Okay.
over the weekend, but.
After his call, yeah, apologize.
We do have a couple different systems, so it sounds like he sent out a one call, and I don't know if he was expecting an email to go out with that also, which is a different system.
Well, I
One
think
call
he thought
sends
he
out-
sent out, correct me if I'm wrong, there are Webster Middle School parent email
Correct.
databases, and Park Ave.
Yes.
Which
And then-
come through the superintendent's office typically, no? Are those your emails that you send out, that they signed out?
The emails
We
that
have
we
a couple
get,
different groups.
we ask parents to fill out a form at the welcome back packet, and then we give that database to the school, and then they send that over to us, and so we have a district database of all the parents.
Correct.
So the schools have their own databases of parents who want emails. So
Yeah.
But I don't believe up until possibly this weekend, that Bartlett database
was set up.
was working correctly because
That I
none of
can
us.
I do know that they did have some issues with their phone, the one-call system, because I wasn't even getting the one-call systems from Bartlett High School.
Yeah.
And if he sent out a call this weekend, I did not get that still,
Okay.
so.
Well, I know the one call system was working for all students, and their parents will get it in the system. What happened was when they updated it, there was an issue with the file, which overrode all the staff. So,
about the staff, right?
so the staff were not in the one-call system, but all the students and families were. So if there was ever an emergency, the parents and students and everybody in that list would get it, but it overrode the staff in there. So the staff needed to be put in, because we have, staff by school and staff as an overall district. So any student or family should have gotten a phone call. There is nothing wrong with that. The system is working fine.
Yeah, the all-calls did happen, and then the confusion was the all-call mentioned an email that everybody received, but no one
Got
had
that.
received the email. So I
Okay.
think at least from a parent perspective, it was
I'll
more the
follow up
email.
with Mr. Cushing and find out exactly what he did
Okay.
and what the issue was, because I wasn't aware of that.
Thank you very much. Continuing on with the agenda, and thank you, Mr. Zajac. Next item on the agenda is student update. Mariah Belletti. Good evening, Mariah.
Good evening. For academics, I have, as Ms. Skogan said and Mr. Zajac said, that quarter one ended on Friday, November 2nd, and the report cards will be sent soon. Well, they already sent, but they will be received soon. And the parent-teacher conferences are this week on Wednesday and Thursday. And then for athletics, we have a lot of wins recently, which is awesome. We have varsity volleyball, who won against Bay Path. We have the football team, who won against David Prouty. And then the boys soccer team won against Burncoat, Quabbin, if I'm pronouncing that right. And that also allowed them to move on to play in the district semifinals on Thursday, November 8th. And although they didn't win, they ended the season with a lot of wins and a lot of effort, so they did great this year. Girls soccer won against Worcester North, and varsity cheerleaders also have a lot of wins. They won their competition on November 4th, and they became the SWICO Division III champions and the grand champs of that competition. And then their competition this past Sunday on the 11th at Marlborough, and they competed in the regionals and became the Central Mass Division III regional champions, and once again had the highest score at the competition. Boys and girls basketball signups were Tuesday, November 6th, and the boys and girls indoor track signups were held on Thursday, November 8th. For clubs, I have the DECA Club and the Miss Haynig's marketing classes. We're selling the long sleeve Thanksgiving pepperoni t-shirts, which came in 3 colors, white, green, and gray, I believe it was. And they also sold the senior class sweatshirts, and those will be coming in soon. We have the Farm to School Committee, and they served the caramel apples on Tuesday, October 30th. And then Student Council is now hosting a turkey feather fundraiser, which is you pay $1 for 4 feathers, and then you get to pick what teachers you want to put the feathers to, like whatever teachers are being involved in this. And whoever has the most feathers by the end of the week, and actually I think it ends on next Tuesday, then that teacher has to wear a turkey costume during the morning of Thanksgiving pep rally, so that'll be funny. And also, to kick off the pep rally, the week starts tomorrow with Decade Day, and then we have all these other dress-up days to do. And then Medical Careers Club, they're selling their annual carnations that will be delivered on pep rally morning as well. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions from Mariah? And let me just say once again, congratulations to Mariah and a lot of other students at Bartlett. Last week, I think it was the honors dinner,
Yes.
which is not only a wonderful event where the students are recognized, it's really nice that the staff work so hard in preparing the meals and serving it. So congratulations
Thank
to you
you.
once again for that. Moving on with the agenda, the next item under old business is the monthly fundraising report. And as was previously mentioned, we do not approve fundraisers. We just review them publicly. And then these are also posted to our website. The Webster Education Foundation is running a couple fundraisers for their program. As was just mentioned, the BHS DECA Club is having a fundraiser. The class of 2019 is selling candles. The Bartlett Student Council is doing the turkey tracker fundraiser. I wish the advisor would have better handwriting. Read it. As Mariah just mentioned, the Bartlett, the art department is doing the wonderful Empty Bowls event again on Friday, March 1st. I'm sure there'll be a lot more information about that once we get closer to it. And then, as Mr. Zajac mentioned, the middle school has submitted 2 fundraisers to begin raising money for their trip to DC. In absolute full disclosure, the student council representative is my wife, or advisor is my wife. We do not approve any of those. Those fundraisers are approved through the building administrator as well as the superintendent. So again, thank you to all the clubs and organizations that work very hard in providing additional opportunities for our students through these fundraising efforts. Any questions or comments related to this topic? Hearing none, next item under old business is the FY20 budget update. Mrs. Perangeli?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Hearn. The superintendent and I have met with all three schools. We've been actively reviewing budgets. I am in the process of combining all of that and putting it into one master document. I'm just about there. The superintendent and I will just give it another brief overview at the end of the week and talk about it. And then we are going to begin our meetings with all the administrators starting next week. I did pass out and leave you guys a budget calendar so you can see. We have a few meetings on the books already scheduled for 11/19, 12/3, and 12/10. Of course, if we need more, we'll book more. We have time for that to prepare a budget for delivery to you and your review on January 8th, where we have 2 meetings in February, and then 2 meetings to review the budget in January and February, I'm sorry. So you'll have a total of 4 meetings to review the budgets before it has to get sent downtown. So we are working on that, and we will be meeting as a team to review and prioritize the needs and making sure we're looking at everything from a systematic view, overall, what's best for the district.
Any questions or comments from the committee? Everybody always loves budget season.
Yeah, it's fun for me.
Good thing you're in the job that you are. Moving on with the agenda under new business, acceptance of donation from Mexicali Restaurant. Mexicali Restaurant here in town has generously donated $375, a portion of proceeds to assist children with special needs. Was there anything else, Mrs. Gogan, or?
Our Director of Student Services, Kathy Barris, will be overseeing the spending of this money. We want to publicly thank Mexicali for their ongoing support of the Webster Public Schools and the students that we serve. They're always helping us.
Any questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to accept the generous $375 donation from Mexicali.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Laurie, would you pull the committee, please?
Yes.
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 Yes, and just before I jump to the last item, I just want to thank our guest this evening for joining us and wish her all the best in her project that she's working on currently. So thank you for joining us. Next item on the agenda is review, transfer, signing of bills, payrolls, and vouchers.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Shenebert,
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
there's a motion and a second. Laurie, would you pull the committee, please?
Yes.
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 Yes, meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.